a Senate member of University of Kerala. She produced 5 PhDs, published more than 30 technical papers in the indexed international and national journals, published more than 50 technical papers in the national and international conference and seminars. In 2019, Dr. Jayalalitha became the Pro Vice Chancellor of Jain Deemed to be University Kochi campus. Madam, we are all sure that Jain Deemed to be University Kochi campus will reach new heights under the able leadership of Dr. Jayalalitha. She is having all the qualities of a leader. A leader knows the way. A leader shows the way. A leader leads the way. Dr. Jayalalitha is having all these qualities. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear friend, for the detailed introduction. Respected Ishwaran Iyer sir, most dignified resource persons, globally renowned resource persons, Dr. Bersila Andrlik, Dr. Barbara Piska, dear colleagues, my dear student friends, I'm so happy that we are organizing a webinar, global webinar spanning for 7 days on a very, very relevant topic, that is global strategies for online education. I think it is the appropriate time wherein we have to take stock of what we have done post-COVID and what we have to achieve in the coming days. Actually, I remember on a fine morning, we had to shut down our campus. We had to sit in our home, wondering what is to be done in the coming days. Though we were, I should say that Jain Deemed to be University is very much advanced in online education, in digital education, in open online courses. Everything it was well advanced, but due to other, I should say, we were not of that necessity that we were practicing all this. But it came to, on a fine morning, it came as a reality that we have to practice online education in its true sense. Then it was the university which came forward. I should always remember with gratitude. They gave us complete motivation from the Vice Chancellor, from Registrar, from Dean, who is present here now, Dr. Ishwaran sir, all gave us enough confidence that we can take up this online education. Within 1 week, we were highly motivated and we were given enough confidence that we are going to go for complete online education. Then, of course, we had many challenges. The teachers had to be trained properly. The students had to be motivated on and often. And all we could do because the motivation which was given by the leadership team. And finally, we could conduct the examinations online. We could publish the results. We could send the students for internship. We could also give some advanced placements for the students. Everything was done. Even celebrations we did, many webinars we conducted. Every week we had some kind of activity which was all online. But we know that we are not, when we compare globally, we might be lacking many things which we can sort it out during this webinar. That is what we are looking for. And I should congratulate the Department of Management headed by Dr. Harish Ramanathan and also IQAC headed by Dr. Kannan, who have come forward with such an appropriate topic where we would be having deliberations. What are the strategies adopted globally, whether we are up to date regarding that, whether we can do again more and more justice to our students. We are facing many issues, we know, so that can be solved through this such discussions. All this we are looking forward. I should take this time to express my deep felt gratitude to the two personalities who are here with us, Dr. Berislav Antli, Dr. Barbara Piska, and also other personalities who would be coming in the coming days to discuss with us. Because on our invitation, they've readily agreed for their dignified presence during these sessions. I look forward for the, I should say, the fruitful result of this webinar. And with these words, I formally state that the webinar is inaugurated. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your optimistic thoughts and your words of inspiration and love that you've shared to us. So now that the program is formally inaugurated, we shall move forward. Distance just becomes a matter of time and space when one has great vision and consistent drive towards development of real global assets. Our Jain deemed to be university is blessed with such an ever-present help and support in the person of Dr. Ishwaran Iyer sir, Dean Commerce and Director Industry Interface and Key Projects, Jain deemed to be university. In fact, the Jain deemed to be University Kochi campus is the brainchild of Dr. Ishwaran sir. To introduce and invite Dr. Ishwaran Iyer sir for the theme introduction, I now invite Dr. K. Madhukumar, Joint Controller of Examination, Jain deemed to be University. Welcome, sir.
Madhukumar sir, you're on mute, sir.
Okay. Yes. Sorry, respected Gadya Madam, Pro Vice Chancellor, respected Ishwaran Iyer sir, the Director and Dean, Jain deemed to be University. Our guest of honors of today, Dr. Berislav Andrlik and Barbara Piska, head of the departments, dear students, and all PG students of first semester for joining this year. And the outset, I congratulate the Department of Management and the IQAC of Jain deemed to be University for arranging a unique program like this. And once again, we have proved that we stand in the forefront of academic activities. All of us are aware that we are facing a challenge globally due to this pandemic. And the theme, as Madam told, this is very relevant. We selected this global interaction and global strategies for education. So as this COVID has affected almost the entire life of humanity, the industry sector, agriculture sector, and the worst and most affected the education is the major part, and how these educational activities are affected due to this pandemic. So as far as Jain University is concerned, we make use of challenges as opportunity, and we could very well that meet our requirement. And as Madam told, all the academic activities we should complete on time, including examinations. And here the focus of the theme of the discussion is whether this pandemic is a boon or bane. So how it can be make the best out of this situation. So whether we can go for the virtual classes fully. So that is the deliberation. That I think that our respected speakers, guest of honors, they will focus on that. So my duty is to introduce our Honorable Isharan Iyer sir, the Director, Dean School of Commerce and Director Industry Interface and Projects, Jain deemed to be University. So I need not introduce Dr. Isharan sir to our faculty or our students. So all of us are aware, and just for just to introduce Isharan sir to our guest of honors and new students. Dr. Isharan Iyer sir, with 29 years of industry experience and 16 more years of experience in academic, has been Master of Strategic Transformation, Transforming Business of Jain deemed to be University, a double doctorate in management from India and USA, along with MPhil, MBA, PGDM, LLB, and honors of degree in BCom, summarizes the rich knowledge possessed by Dr. Isharan sir. His motto is making youngsters the leaders of tomorrow, and lot of credentials. And I just mentioned some of these credentials. He is a fellow of Chartered Management Institute, UK, assessor in the revised framework of NAC, and he is an external examiner of MBA program of University of West Scotland, UK, Imperial College of Business, member of Academic Advisory Committee of Committee Entrepreneurship and Education, the Stanford 3, then and conferred life membership of Insurance Institute of India, Mumbai, Rotary Best Teacher Award for 2 consecutive years, member Board of Studies MBA course, Alagappa University, member of the Governing Board, Pondicherry University, and lot of other. I don't want to read all these things. And Dr. Isharan sir has authored 32 journal publications, 8 research publications, 2 books for MBA, and 3 study materials for PG programs in management for Bangalore University, with indexed journals of ISN and ISBN numbers. With these few words, I wholeheartedly welcome Dr. Isharan sir to speak, to address the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Madhukumar, Dr. Berishrao, Dr. Barbara, our overseas guest of honor today, my colleague, Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. J. Lata, Dr. Sati Kumar, Dr. Madhukumar, the head HODs, and dear faculty members. First and foremost, I think I should thank personally our overseas knowledgeable guests of honor who have agreed to take out time from their busy schedule and address our students and other aspirants about the changed scenario due to COVID-19. Before I address the audience, I just wanted to give a brief about the history of our Jain Group of Institutions. The Jain Group of Institutions was founded in the year 1990. Prior to that, the visionary founder chairman, Dr. Chenraj Roychand, was a traveling salesman. He was a businessman. He had traveled every nook and corner of southern India, and perhaps one thing which he felt very bad was the poverty in our country. And one of the ways of eradicating poverty was quality education, grooming students to be entrepreneurs, grooming students to be intrapreneurs, and making them contribute to nation building and the GDP of the country. With that motto, with just 18 students in the year 1990, we started. Today we have around 82 institutions, 85,000 students, and from Bhagwan Mahavir Jain College in the year 1990, in 2007-8, because of the highest ranking what we got in NAC, we qualified as Jain deemed to be university. Jain deemed to be university started its operation in the year 2009 and 10. And today, I am proud to say that we have more than 12,000 students studying in our Bangalore campus, approximately about 1,800 students in our Cochin campus. Over and above that, in the last ranking of our National Institution Ranking Framework conducted by the UGC and the Ministry of Education, we are ranked 85th. In the QS India ranking, we are 91 to 95. In private rankings like India Today, the week, we are among the top 10. As per NAC, we are among top 50. And we consistently, as per Karnataka State Ranking Framework, we have been having a 5-star ranking. Perhaps all this ranking attributes to quality education, a student-centric approach towards learning for the students, and over and above that, it is because of the contribution given by our teaching fraternity. Perhaps, I have one person, I think I was born at a time when India was called as a poor country, a backward country. I still remember whenever we used to move around, I have read actually in many of the movies also I could see, it was always shown that we were a poor country, we were a backward country, and a country of snake charmers and farmers. Perhaps from that, we grew strength to strength. In the 80s, we were able to come out with various revolutions. And perhaps one of the most revolutionary concepts which happened in our country was the liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Prior to that, I still remember when I was doing my MBA, when I was doing my MCOM, when I was studying law, if I had to even read a commercial news or going to what is happening in the global news, perhaps I have to listen to a radio through BBC World News, or perhaps somewhere in Economic Times or in the Times of India or in the leading English dailies, in some corner, there used to be a Reuters publication telling what is happening in the other part of the world. Children, you are all very fortunate that you are born in an era where technology has come to you all as an aid. Perhaps I still remember, in spite of paying 20,000 INR, that time that is equivalent to 2 lakhs of today, we used to wait for about 8 years or 10 years to have a telephone connection. And today, by just paying 200 rupees and paying about 500 rupees, you are able to get a Geo connection, and that also within 15 minutes. So these changes has brought in a lot of opportunities for skilling, opportunities to adapt to the tune of emerging segments, emerging technologies. And at the same time, who thought, I would always say that who never thought that, from a chalk and a blackboard teaching, people will come and straight away change into the concept of having students learn from, perhaps even schools have started by talking about the university education, higher education learning today. We are able to boast and tell that, okay, we have a Google platform, or we have a Cisco platform, or we have a Google Meet, or we have a Zoom platform, and it's possible today. Today technology has brought in all the needed support and platforms where one person is sitting in another country, and from there now today we have our guest of honor who will be addressing you all. These opportunities are very important to the students from a learning perspective, from a perspective of knowing what is happening in other parts of the world. In my generation, I think it was only the news or self-learning. We didn't have a television. At least you all have all those opportunities today to learn and understand what is happening. And people who are a part of this webinar or the webinar series are people who have proved themselves with wisdom, with experience, and testimonials of success. So dear students, based on the NAC ranking and the graded autonomy, we started our Kochi campus last year, and this is the second year of our operations. And I would like to place on record the enthusiasm and the initiative shown by the entire academic fraternity of my Kochi campus, where they have been able to innovate and come out with various concepts like this. so that students, especially the postgraduate students, it will be an opportunity for you all to gather the experiences and wisdom of successful people and try to correlate with what you're going to learn, and at the same time what you need to apply in your professional career in future. I would like to thank, on behalf of the senior leadership team of Jain deemed to be University, the Jain group of institutions, our guests of honor, for having taken out time to address our students and our teachers and faculties. And I request each and every student, each and every colleague of mine to take all these inputs, what you're going to gather from the two wonderful sessions, what you'll be having now, and see that you are able to complete and have those inputs to adapt to the need of future. I would also like to place on record my sincere appreciation to Dr. Harish Ramanathan, to Dr. Lata to have supported you all in having this initiatives, to Dr. Kannan, to Dr. Bindu, to Dr. Kripa, and every colleague of mine who have joined hands today to make this webinar a successful event. I wish each and every colleague of mine, I wish each and every student of ours a grand learning experience and exposure. And on behalf, again, I would wish to thank our special overseas guests of honor to have taken out time and address. Thank you one and all. I wish the webinar series has success. And students, definitely I'll be addressing you from a career perspective or a learning perspective later. But I welcome you all to Jain deemed to be University. This is only a tip of an iceberg for you all. And you'll have many more things for you to understand and learn. And I wish you all a very bright and a successful career and a learning experience ahead. Thank you one and all.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Ishan Iyer, sir, for putting or throwing light on the series of change we have gone through in your own style. And thank you for those thought-provoking words. I think when you were sharing, we all went through the change we are experiencing now. So as mentioned, as rightly mentioned by sir, change indeed is the only constant. So without further delay, let us try to understand better our new normal and how it is reshaping the education system globally from our expert speakers for the day. To introduce and welcome the keynote speakers for the evening, I would like to invite Dr. Harish N. Ramanathan, Professor and Head of Department of Management Studies, Jain deemed to be University. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Kripa. Good evening to one and all. Namaskaram and Dobrosil to my friends from Croatia. I'm so fortunate and happy that both Berislav and Barbara is with us on the stage today. They are, in fact, instrumental for the organization of a program of this kind. What the reason is, when we, in fact, thought of having an idea, in fact, I had a discussion with Dr. Isharan sir, Leda ma'am. So they immediately said, you have to make this done at any cost. So we were in fact finding how that we'll be able to organize this. So these two people whom are going to address you today are well connected across the world through a program by name Erasmus+. They are the backbone of that particular program of their institute, and they are connected all across the world. Through different universities into each and every part, and they have even traveled across and also to almost all the nations in academic perspectives, even otherwise also. And they have gained vast experience also. So it'll be equally interesting for all of us to listen to what they have in fact practiced and to learn and implement what that we can take from that. So I would like to take this opportunity to introduce my friend, research partner, Dr. Berislav Anderlich. He's a PhD professor who is with the Polytechnic of Požega. In their language, it is Velashuliste U Posagi. Am I right, Berislav?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, he's a professor with around 17 and odd years of experience who is very much into marketing, promotion, sales, branding, and he had authored of around 70 scientific papers, and he has been in the editorial board of many reputed scopus or index journals. From 2007 to 12, he served as head of a social department, and from 2014, he got promoted as a vice dean of this institute. He's a very active member of CROMAR, which stands for the Croatian Marketing Association. And he is into social service as well. He's well connected with the local administration of their town, Požega. He's head of town Požega Committee for International Cooperation. So if you go there on Erasmus, we are going as a country guest. So he used to take care of all the activities which is associated with that. And he's a very active member of Erasmus International Program of a Professor Exchange. He has been to many countries. He came to India as well in 2018. And I hope they have applied for an Erasmus funding with Jain University, Jain deemed to be university as well. And if everything goes on fine, we also will be getting funding for international exchange in the year 2021. My another colleague, Dr. Barbara Pisker, who is, we used to call her as the backbone of Erasmus of our institute, who was the coordinator of Erasmus for quite a few years. She's an MSc in sociology. She took PhD from sociology from the Law University of Zagreb. She is a recipient of 2 postdoctoral research fellowships, one in sociology of law from International Institute of Sociology of Law, Spain, and another one in economic sociology from Amsterdam, Netherlands. He is now the collegiate professor in Polytechnic of Požega. She's associating with the University of Osijek also, which is again in Croatia itself. And he was a Croatian national Erasmus Plus expert in 2017. She is acting as a visiting faculty in many other universities also. An avid researcher, has got many publications to her credit. Very enthusiastic in collaborative research. Even she used to take into account the things in different countries as well. So I thought, these two will be the right people to start the deliberations with. So now, with pride, happiness, and whatnot, I invite Berislav and Barbara to take on the stage and start the session. Thank you all.
Thank you. Haresh, can you see my screen?
Yeah, of course. You can run the slide.
Okay. Thank you very much, dear colleagues and dear friends, for this great introduction. I'm very pleased to be part of this international seminar or webinar, and I want to thank Professor Haresh and to whole management of Jain University to created or to organize something like this. I think this is something which will help us to share some experiences, and I think after we finish this webinar, we will have some new ideas how to resolve some problems we have in this COVID situation. First of all, I would like to say something about my institution. Do you see this organizational structure? You can see that Polytechnic in Požega consists of two departments. We have social department and we have agriculture department. In this social sciences department, we have professional study of accounting, of commerce, and professional study of law administration. And after that, students have a possibility to go on a master study and to receive title specialist of commerce in as a 5th year. Other department is Department of Agriculture, and we have our innovative study of viticulture, enology, and pomology, and the other one is food technology. So you see, we are Polytechnic, but we are like small university because we have interdisciplinary studies, and as Professor Haraj said, we are partners of your university from 2 years ago, and we are very pleased to be part of this cooperation. Besides this, we are very active in EU projects, in international projects, and in international publications. As a part of this, we are part of Erasmus program, and as Professor said, we applied some budget, and we are receiving grant for next year, and we hope that after that this COVID will over, you will meet us in Požega, and we will also travel to Kochi. In the field of educational resources, we can say that Polytechnic in Požega is in the size of Croatia, one of the oldest Polytechnic in Požega. We are 22 years old, and we have around 1,000 students. As you can see from these pictures, we have a lot of educational resources, from our new student dorm, our vineyard, our wine cellar. You can see also some pictures from our Erasmus program, and I think you can recognize some familiar faces here. Also, we have a lot of laboratories, and our strength as an institution is that in our education we have a lot of practice. So students can see from the real things how it's working in practice. Our students are going besides Erasmus on other international programs. They have competitions. Also, they have a lot of sport events. And you see, we also have alumni association, which connects us with firms, because there is around 70% of our students which finish our Polytechnic are employed in practice. So this is a good result for us. Today's theme is COVID-19, but first of all, I will say something about, I called it wonderful offline days, because Polytechnic in Požega is one of the best institutions in Croatia regarding receiving money from EU funds and from Erasmus Fund for student and professor exchange. On these pictures, you can see we call it International Teaching Week or International Erasmus Week. So we collect, as you see, professors from all over the world in Požega. We are connected, besides India, with all other countries like Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Ukraine, Georgia, Austria, Germany, and a lot of countries all over the world. And we receive them in Požega on student practice, on student teaching. And of course, professors also are part of this teaching program. Then we also have one agreement with China. You can see also nice pictures from our first partnership country, Ukraine, in this Erasmus KA 107. So these are for me wonderful offline days, and we hope that after this COVID pandemic finish, we will see, so we will meet each other again soon. When we talk about situation with COVID in Croatia, we can say that temporarily everything is under control, but we have an increasing number of people who are ill now, and it is around 3,000 people per day, which is a lot, because Croatia has 4 million people, and the town of Požega has 25,000 people. Every day in Požega we have around 50 cases of COVID, and when we talk about Polytechnic in Požega, we had a few cases in our institutions, but I think it is under control now. Regarding the type of classes we now have physical classes. So only if some professor has some problems with COVID or it is isolated, we are running online education. I will say something about this later. When I talk about measures we've done in March after this COVID started, first of all, we motivate our colleagues, our professors, and our students about physical distancing at Polytechnic in Požega. After that, we are motivating them to practice health and hand hygiene. And of course, we are cleaning and disinfecting tips for the classroom and all our offices every day. Also, in the pause of every class, we have also this cleaning and disinfection process. And of course, we have actions to take if a student appears sick. Every day we are measuring temperature at the entrance of our Polytechnic, and also every professor has a task to measure temperature before starting a lesson. If some students have a higher temperature around 37 or 37.5, he needs to go outside and he needs to go home to be isolated. After that, if everything is okay, next day he can come back. Also, as a management of Polytechnic, we encourage students and also our staff to stay home when we are sick. Because we must be careful. If you don't have COVID or you have some ill or maybe flu, we are motivate them to stay home when they are sick, and we are running this lesson online. Also, we perform frequent hand washing with soap and water. We are very good equipped, and we have a good finance situation. So we invested a lot in this part of student and employee safety. If not available, we are using alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Also, we are encouraging students to avoid touching eyes, nose, mouth with unwashed hands. So this is also a useful tip. Also, we cover coughs and sneeze with a tissue. We motivate them to throw tissues in trash and clean hands with the soap or water or hand sanitizer. Also, we provide adequate supplies for good hygiene. We follow a routine from our Ministry of Science because we receive every week some tips how to deal with this COVID situation. And if COVID appears, of course, we need to put students in home isolation or home quarantine. So now it's in Croatian, this quarantine is 10 days. Ministry of Science and Ministry of Health are talking these days of cutting to 7 days, but it's not legally formal, but 10 days temporarily this day of quarantine. Later, we are talking about cleaning and disinfecting procedures. We are routinely cleaning with a third Party Green certified cleaner, and we disinfect with a registered product. We can disinfect claim for human coronaviruses. Typically, this means daily sanitizing surfaces and objects frequently touched, bathrooms, water coolers, desks, door knobs, computer keyboards, hands-on learning items, facet handles, phones, etc. So our technical staff has a lot to do these days because they are cleaning this few times per day. Of course, we are cleaning the surface first to remove all organic matter, and we also follow the disinfect manufacturer's instructions. We use the proper concentration of disinfect. We allow to require wet contact time. We pay close attention to hazard warnings and instructions for using personal protective items, and we also use disinfections in a sufficiently ventilated space. We also open windows, but in Croatia now it's a little cold. But if we can, we are opening doors and opening windows in the house of every class. As I said, we are very financial. We have a good financial situation in Polytechnic in Požega, and we invested a lot in safety of our employees and students. So every day students can take a free mask at the entrance of Polytechnic in Požega. At the entrance also they need to, by the decision of the dean, they need to measure, of course, temperature. So our technical staff has this task to measure to all employees and students. And of course, our professors need to measure before every class temperature of students. Besides this, we invested in, you see this signs and in equipment with disinfection. So we have around 10 places on Polytechnic in Požega with this disinfection stuff. Of course, we have other building in our vineyard. We have a wine cellar, and this other building is also equipped with this equipment. In COVID, we adapted our regularly business and regularly education process through a lot of webinars, seminars, and I will show you a few examples. As Haresh said, we are part of Erasmus program, and we have one big project with France partners. In this project, we are creating one program for people with disabilities to work in a wine cellar and to work in marketing of wine. And this picture you can see at the right side of this slide is our usual meeting. We have this meeting once time per week, and these partners are from European Union, from France, Spain, Italy, and of course Croatia. This other picture is showing a few examples of our final thesis. So you can see this picture when students are having final thesis, and also we called it Erasmus Alumni Day with Sri Lanka partners. Our partners from Colombo, from Kelania, invited us to one international alumni day, and a few of our professors were part of this international meeting. It was only one day, not so big event like yours, but it was nice to see colleagues from Sri Lanka with the head of Chamaru de Alvis. Of course, you can see this maybe unusual final thesis and rewarding ceremony, and you see our student from Master Study of Commerce is very elegant in this occasion. And on the left one, you can see also rewarding ceremony of students, because this year we didn't organize celebration for best students, so we reward them online and send them their confirmations by physical post. Besides this, we can divide systems in Croatia in the field of e-education in two models. First of all, it's a commercial e-system. You are, of course, well-known Zoom, and the other tool we are using, it's Microsoft Teams, which we have free from the Ministry of Science and from Microsoft. So we are using the most in practice. Every student have a profile, and we can send also PowerPoint presentations, books, or other materials online. Also, we are communicating with them by email, by chat, and this is functioning very well. As I said, now we are running physical classes, but we had, before starting of academic year, we had 1 month education by our head of technical sector in Polytechnic in Požega. So all professors are ready to go online if, of course, COVID situations go bad. Other e-system from Ministry of Science is called Merlin. It is also e-learning program or e-learning system, and every professor has own profile, and all courses has their digital version with all informations about literature, about way of how to pass exam, and other things. With one move, you can send some information to all students on their wall, or they will receive this information by email. So as you can see, we are well equipped. We are ready for COVID situation. If situation in Croatia goes further in increasing numbers, we hope that it will go not. And what will be in the future? Now we are running physical classes. Sometimes if COVID appears, we have as a so-called hybrid model. So part of classes are online, and part of classes are physical, especially practice education, especially practice in our laboratory, practice in our vineyard. So it is very difficult to show something by email or by video through this e-system. Of course, quality is much higher in these physical classes. And online model is a situation or solution if situation go bad. Temporarily, Ministry of Science have this idea to go further with physical classes until it is possible. Some schools in Croatia has an online model, but it is a decision of region or decision of a local authority. But in Požega, we are relatively small town. We have a good situation with COVID, so we are running physical classes. In some big towns, perhaps Zagreb, Varaždin, and Osijek, or Split on the coast, there are few faculties which are running classes online, but this is a decision of local authority with decision of head of or management of this faculty. And at the end, I would like to thank you for your attention. If you have some questions, we are ready to give the answers when the Barbara finish with her part, and of course, you are all welcome to Croatia, because as I said, we are waiting for the fund for next year for Erasmus exchange, and few of your professors will have a possibility to go to Croatia. Of course, students are also welcome to be part of this program after decision of our Ministry of Science with amount of grant we will receive. Thank you.
Borislav, Barbara would like to do any presentation?
Yes.
Yeah, Barbara.
Yes, now it's my turn to do the presentation. Thank you, Harish.
Yeah.
I will start to share my screen. I'm not sure if Borislav has to stop sharing his screen.
Okay, sorry, I will now
check what will happen.
Yes, I stopped.
Okay. Let me start sharing. Just a second. Okay, this is going to be my presentation. Let me just move to the beginning. Okay. Just a second. Okay, that's it. I'm ready. I wish to say hello to everybody. I'm very glad and very honored to be here with all of you. You've got impressive numbers on this webinar. Thank you all, especially Harish, to welcoming us and giving us this opportunity to be keynote speakers. It's a great honor, and we are also very privileged. And I'm going to talk today to all of you, the honorable management of Jain University, also to all professors, and especially to the students. I would like to present our Croatia, our homeland country, our institution, and I would like to say a couple of words about how we conduct our classes. We also conducted a small research, so I'm going to share with you, although the research paper has not yet been published, I'm going to show some details that we have to share with you to show what are the standing points of our students and our teachers about the experience of the lockdown that we had during the springtime in Croatia as COVID pandemic started. So I'm going to start now after thanking you all with my presentation. So I named it the effects of COVID-19 to changes introduced to higher education institutions area at the national, so Croatian level and institutional level, not just of the Polytechnic in Požega, but also the other higher education institution that I do my lectures at, which is University in Osijek. So this is what I'm going to present today. First of all, I would like to show you where do we come from. So you see this red dot in the middle of Europe. This is where Croatia, and this is where Požega, our hometown, is. All those little yellow dots that you can see around the world, actually, here I'm going to try to show is, I hope, your university and your homeland. So all these yellow dots that you can see are our Erasmus partners. We have quite a lot of partners here in Europe, and you can see that we are present also here in South America, in North America, in Africa, also here in China. We do not have, at least yet, a partnership in Australia, but I hope our Vice Dean Borislav, that just had his lecture, will do somehow to have this as well. So this is where we live, this is where we currently are, and we send to you all great regards from all of us. Okay, so there are some data here for our country. So it's named Croatia. Here's the national flag, and we are a member of the European Union since 2013. Our country is not so big, so we've got, here's the area data. So we've got 56,500 and something more square kilometers. Our population is around 4 million, and population density is around 73 people per square kilometer. It consists nationally of almost or something over 90% of Croats, and over 90% of inhabitants in Croatia are religiously Christians. Here are some data for the economists, because I know the majority of you are studying economy. Regarding the nominal GDP rate, and the GDP rate per capita is 65% of the European Union. These are the data, all these data are for 2019. So these data, I hope, look very, very good to you. And our employment rate in 2019 was 7.2%, which is also a great result, I would say. There are some interesting facts here as well. So Human Development Index, for example, is 0.837, which is very high. We take 46th place on the global scale. This index is very interesting to me as I teach sociology. So this is a Happy Planet Index, which indicates to what is the amount of happiness for the people who live in Croatia. So we take 47th place of, I would say, around 160 countries in the world that have been observed. This is, for example, corruption perception index for Croatia, where we take the 63rd place. I might say we could do better, and hopefully we will. And this is also the data for ecological footprint. So the one in green economy, which is not, I would say, sustainable, because we are 0.7 overdue for global hectares per person. So we, I would say, we spend more than we have, which goes up to 27%. So we definitely need to work on these green economy developments, which is a plan of the European Union in general. So I hope we will do better. Next time I will have the opportunity to show you the newest data. I would also like to show you a video of our national tourist board to show you what Croatia looks like. So this is a video that has been awarded as one of the top videos on the global scale, I would say 2 or 3 years ago. 3 years ago, actually, because I remember I showed this video when I was visiting India and Harish. So I hope you're going to enjoy it, and I'll run it now for you. Just a second. Here it goes.
Yes. You have to party all night. Relax all day. Skate like this. Climb like that. Swim here. Cycle there. Sail everywhere. When you want to lift your spirits sky high, you have to come to Croatia. Croatia, full of life.
Okay, I hope this was an enjoyment to you as it was to me. This is, of course, pre-filmed prior to this COVID pandemic situation, but we, of course, hope that we will live the way as we lived just a year ago. Okay, this was like just a short introduction to introduce you to where we come from and where we live and what is the way that we live alike in Croatia. So regarding the higher educational institution system in Croatia, we can say that we have 105 public institutions which are kind of founded by the Ministry of Science and Education in Croatia. So we have 9 public universities, which consist of totally 82 institutions. We also have 11 polytechnics, which is the one that we come from in Požega. We also have 3 public colleges. And regarding the private sector in higher education institutions, we have 24 institutions. Out of it, private universities 3, private polytechnics 6, and private colleges 15. The overall number, latest data that I found for the last year, so for 2019, was 160,000 students for the whole population of students in the country of Croatia. Now we come up to the COVID situation. Berislav gave you quite detailed technical details of what is the situation alike at the Polytechnic in Požega, the similar and very similar situations all over other public and private institutions in the sector of higher educational institutions. So as I noted here, the first case of COVID-19 in Croatia has appeared at the end of February of this year, and we had general country lockdown, which lasted from the mid-March until the end of May in 2020. After this period, we had quite a successful tourist season. We were expecting the GDP from the tourism to fall hardly down, but we managed to save some of the 50%, which is a great result, I would say. Regarding the newest data for the coronavirus in general, through the world and for Croatia, I'm just going to check if this is going to open the latest news, if this is working. Hopefully you can see. Okay, this is the Worldometer details, which shows coronaviruses for the world, and also, just a second, let me get back. These are the data showing the latest cases for Croatia. So in general, this is the whole cases that we have. These are the general data of the deceased. These are the general data of the recovered. As my colleague and our vice dean noted before, the situation is not that dramatical regarding the comparison in the other countries of the European Union, but of course we can always work towards being better. There are some data also here that I'm just going to stroll over through regarding the impact of COVID-19 to the economic sector in Croatia. I hope you can see this. So these are the data from OECD, and the data are from the 31st October, so the latest data for this country. So this is the health situation data from the, as I said, from February, from the mid-February until today. We had quite a great situation, as you can see here in the summer, which is the time of summertime in Croatia, and now going towards autumn, which is the current situation in Croatia, and following with winter time, this graph is not looking that so promising, unfortunately, so we can expect different situations. We've got some of the policy reactions here. I'm not gonna stay long on these data. I'm just gonna show, we also have some data regarding economic support measures. We are glad to see that our government is supporting our private sector and investing quite a lot effort to support and to keep the employment rate in Croatia, with, of course, the help of the European Commission. And there are some data here expressed in regards to what are the numbers regarding millions of euros invested into keeping this situation, I would say, under control. So there are some macroeconomic data regarding the recession awaiting for us. It is expected that the 2020 recession will go down approximately. The predictions were not good, but we hope will stay. There's data here for 10.8 GDP going down, but we expect a little bit lower, I would say around 8%. And we also, as I noticed, have managed to save 50% of tourism revenues. Currently, here's the data, we count around 150 unemployed, and so on. So if there will be some interest for these data, I will be saving this presentation, so you'll be able to get a hand on the data if anybody would like to have it. So we had some recent research. The first one I'm going to show is from the Ministry of Science and Education, so from the National Ministry of Croatia, regarding the impacts of COVID to our higher education institutions. So they've conducted a survey at a sample of 4,000 and let's say 200 teachers and students in the period from March 27 to April 2nd of this year. And the data showed that 34.5% of teachers are completely satisfied with the way classes were organized in a time of the lockdown. I want to remind you that it was a time of the lockdown when we had to fully transfer all our activities online. Just to compare this situation, prior to this lockdown, the whole higher educational system in Croatia had only had 20% of courses already available on online platforms. So all the other courses and all the other teachers had to prepare very quickly and use different tools to present their lectures to the students. So 34.2 teachers were completely satisfied, while 61.5% of teachers were mostly satisfied. So we can say that the satisfaction was quite high regarding the circumstances that were striked on the higher educational institutions in this quite a short period of time. Regarding technical equipment, to follow on the data from the survey, 87% of teachers are considering it to be adequate for online classes, and only 13% of them were unsatisfied. And finally, there's another data. The last one for this research, half of teachers request more video lessons and more additional softwares for the autumn 2020 period. So the teachers kind of noticed that students would like to have more video lectures and deciding on additional software to help them to work more efficiently with students regarding this starting academic year that has just started here in Croatia during this autumn time, so in September 2020. I would like also to show you this short comparative analysis for the two institutions that I currently work for. So I am a full employed college professor at Polytechnic in Požega. And I also do some lectures as an external associate at universities in Osijek, which is another institution, but also, of course, in the sector of higher educational institutions. So when we are comparing these two institutions, Polytechnic in Požega has around 1,000 students, and Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities that I do my teaching at have around 1,300 students, so they are very much alike. What are the differences is that at Polytechnic in Požega, we have institutionally defined teaching options. So unlike at Faculty of Social Sciences, University of Osijek, so teachers can define the ways that they will teach by themselves. Which means that the majority of teachers here at Osijek have decided to take classes online, which is 80% of total classes taught for the students. While, as Berislav has informed you before, Polytechnic in Požega has decided to keep this model of offline held classes, so in classrooms teaching for our students in Požega. This is due to the fact that Polytechnic in Požega is very well equipped technically and infrastructurally, because we have bigger classrooms, we have smaller groups, we can have our students keep distance, which is at this very moment our advantage and our benefit for our students. I have to also note here that all our programs that we conduct are accredited as offline programs, not online programs. So we fully respect all the institutional and ministry formal tasks regarding the ways that we conduct our classes. Unlike in Osijek, for example, their building is much older, their classrooms are much smaller, and they've got bigger student groups. So this is one of the main reasons why the majority of teachers have decided to switch their classes online, because it is not possible to have all the students in class. And if the students would go to classes, then they would have to be split in smaller groups, and it would mean that they would not get all the amount of teaching that is necessary for them to pass the exams. The ways that online classes are conducted at Polytechnic in Požega, if necessary, and due to the institutional decisions, as we are all very well prepared, all the materials and all the necessary literature and all the necessary informations for students are, as Berislav has already shown, in this system, e-learning system called Merlin, which is also obligatory for all the teachers. So all of us, we all use the same models, which is wonderful for students because they don't have to switch to different e-learning platforms. For example, for Osijek, they do not have an obligatory e-learning platform for the information, but the majority of teachers use a similar tool, but a little bit different, which is called Lumen. And as Berislav already noted, we use Microsoft Teams for online exercises, for our online lectures, for student presentations, seminars, and exercises. And University of Osijek Faculty of Social Sciences uses this model of big blue button. There's not that so many differences, but what I see as an advantage of the Polytechnic in Požega is the fact that we all use the same platforms, which is very well for the students, and they like when they can find everything they need for different courses in the program in the same platform. I have also managed to conduct a little research at the Polytechnic in Požega with my colleagues teaching mathematics and informatics. So I have to mention their names here. Christian and Bojan helped me a lot in conducting this research, which is also a comparative analysis we did during September this year. So when we started our lectures for this academic year, and we tried to compare what are the opinions of our colleagues, teachers, and our students if we compare offline and online teaching. So here is how we called it a comparative analysis of offline and online teaching, so student and teacher experience. It was conducted, as I said, in September 2020 for a period from academic year. The first academic year that we took data from is 2016-17, and the last one was this last academic year when we had a lockdown during the spring semester, as I already noticed. So we had all students, some of them are also our alumni that participated in this survey, and we asked an opinion of our fully employed teachers and our part-time teachers. So this is what I'm going to show you, what are the responses that we had from our students and from our teaching regarding this comparative analysis. So this is what happened with the pass or fail for the students when we compare online teaching and offline teaching. You can notice that pass rate for offline teaching was quite lower. It was under 60%. And for online teaching, a pass rate for the exams that our students had was significantly higher. It was just under 70%. This is also the orange part shows a fail ratio. So you can see that students were very satisfied actually with these, and the other data will show as well this statement, because they had a higher pass rate at their exam on their online teaching and also on their online exams. Here we can also see there is a slight change here in online and offline mode regarding their final exam attempts. So they had to try on their exams. They passed anyway. The higher pass rate is also seen here. So in online, they were more successful, and over 60% of them have succeeded to pass their exam from their first try. Let's call it like that. You can also see here on this distribution of teachers grade, we conduct our survey that helps us in the frame of our quality assurance systems to improve our teaching. So after each semester, students actually grade their teachers' success in the job that they do for them. So this distribution of teachers' grade, you can see here regarding different questions asked here. You can see the questions here. I'm not going to read all the questions. I'm just going to show you the ways that this distribution goes. The fact is that online models teaching here, you can see go and distribute much higher grades than these offline models do. So there's another point here which is very important to show that students were more satisfied with online teaching than with offline teaching, which has been conducted, of course, for years. So we can conclude that the pandemic situation did not bring all the bad for students, but in the results as seen here, they were quite satisfied. And here are also the teacher's attitude and perception towards online teaching and learning and assessment. So what you can see here is that the teachers have graded regarding those questions that were asked as, for example, I'm just going to show this question number 1. So teachers were asked if in online teaching, achieving student learning outcomes was, for answer 1, easier, sorry. There was no difference for answer 2, and it was harder for them for answer 3. So what you can see is that the majority of teachers said that they had quite a lot of work to do, which is due to the fact that we were not prepared for this situation, but we handled excellent, I must say, regarding the grades and the feedback that we received from our students. And all the amount of work that we did was actually good for the students and eventually for us. So we were glad to receive this feedback from the students, and we were glad that all the efforts that we did during the springtime of lockdown showed us good results. So there are some other questions which also can show some different perception and attitudes of teachers towards the questions that we have asked here. And to conclude with these research questions, so we can say that we had a significantly better final exam results for our students. We had significantly better results of student surveys for teacher evaluation. What teachers have noted is that they were afraid that some of the students used some unethical principles to do their tests. So they kind of were questioned whether or not these results were actually the real one. And they feel that they have lost control over traditional written examination, and they definitely need to find some new ways to do the teaching. Also, some of the conclusions were that achieving student learning outcomes has been more difficult for teachers, and there has been a great increase in teacher workload that I have already mentioned. And coming now to the end of my lecture, I would like to make this a little bit more global. So I tried to find some research on the data regarding the differences that we have globally in the post-COVID education. So I found these data on UNESCO's webpage, showing that we have to admit that we are quite lucky in Croatia and European Union in general that we live in this part of the world, as we had absolutely no problems with our students being connected online, being able to do the workload that was required from them, as they all had internet, they all had devices, they all could work in education unlimited due to this pandemic that we were all witnessing. So I just wanted to show, to contribute to this global discussion, the data that I found, which state that worldwide, 50% of learners do not have actually a household computer. Also, 43 of them, so globally, do not have household internet, and 56 million of learners globally cannot use mobile phones to access information because they are not covered by mobile networks. So all of us that can meet like this in this time can be very happy that we do not belong to this part, but we also are very responsible to commit and to try to find ways to help and improve this situation for the other ones who are not so lucky as we are. There are some data here on the right that you can also see. For example, for African countries where the data are even worse than this worldwide data. Coming slowly to an end, I also found some ideas for public action, also from United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization and their International Commission of the Futures of Education, which was established actually last year due to the COVID pandemic problems, which are to tackle our discussion on what are we to do to prepare ourselves better for the challenges that are all awaiting for the higher educational system in the years to come. So the first one is to strengthen education as a common good. So to try to help all those ones who cannot fit into this model to help them to get better. So the second one is to acknowledge the fact that everybody has a right to education. The third one is to kind of value the teacher profession and teacher collaboration to help each other. What are we doing here as well? The following one is to promote student, youth, and children's participation and rights. The sixth one, to protect social spaces provided by schools, as well as we are informed of the benefits that we have due to the online education. We also have to have in mind the fact that we need to socialize our youngs, and we need to try to force the offline school and higher education institution communities to help our students to get back to where they belong. So the sixth one is to make free and open source technologies available to teachers and students, which is very important regarding the fact that not all are able to pay the resources, the literature, the mobile internet, the technology, the facilities, unlike the ones that are. And the seventh, to ensure scientific literacy within the curriculum to help us fight different problems that appear in the mass media and social media regarding the problems of different types of truth being placed around the world. So the eighth one is to protect domestic and international financing of public education, which is very important. So again, trying to emphasize the fact that education is the right of all. And the ninth one, the last but not the least important, so advanced global solidarity to end current levels of inequality, which is something that I have mentioned a number of times. And there's a little note that I have here. I found out that in numerology, number 9 is the number of completion and resolution, which might help us to achieve all those goals that have been listed here. Okay, coming to an end now, I would like to say that this pandemic crisis we have to see not as a crisis, but as a new chance. And we have to be aware of the fact that we cannot return to the world as it was before, that we have to use this time that has presented us with real challenge, but also with the real responsibility, that we need to debate and engage around different action to organize internationally with different stakeholders to make changes into education as we will know it in the future. I also wanted to show you this. This is these are the signs in Chinese language that go to the word of crisis. So this is how it's written, and there's an explanation here that says that this first sign, I don't know how to read it, honestly, I don't speak Chinese, but this first sign imposes the problem of danger in the crisis, but this other sign it is translated here to English so we can understand it. It means the opportunity. So this is what we have to see in this pandemic crisis, to use the resources that we have and to make the world of education better for all of those included. This is another note that I also want to share with you. It's from Confucius. It says that if you want to plan for a year, you would plant rice. If you want to plan for 10 years, you would plant trees. But if you want to plan for 100 years in advance, then you need and you want to educate your young ones, your children. So it's a national, but it's also a global obligation for all of us. And this is the end of the session that I have. So thank you all for your patience. I hope you learned something new. And now Berislav and I are open for your questions, your comments, your suggestions. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Berislav Andlik and Dr. Barbara Fisker. Thank you for your profound thoughts on this subject. And as Dr. Berislav Andlik rightly said, we need to take the precautions, but we can definitely think of a brighter future in our education. And Barbara, I must say that you wouldn't just place where you are in the map, but you placed Croatia in our hearts, and it will be a place that we would like to come and visit once everything becomes normal. So thank you for that insightful session on post-COVID, how we can handle education. I'm sure all of you got right takeaways from the slides that Barbara just now showed. And as she rightly mentioned, that education is the right for everybody, and we need to open it up to major part of the people. And that's what we are here for. And as her points rightly showed, okay, so this is the time that young generation is also to be included in our decisions. And this is why we have such a webinar right in front of us. So now the floor is open for discussion. If any of you have any queries, any discussion point, you can definitely put it across to our keynote speakers. They are here, ready to listen to you. So I guess, Dr. Berislav, you have a question. So it's from Simi. She says a hi to you, and she says that what plans do you have? Can you hear me?
Yes. Let me answer to our colleague Simi Kurian. We are happy to meet her in India, and we did some researches together, and also with Barbara. Simi asked us what about the length of 1 hour in Croatia in teaching, and according to the decision of Ministry of Science, it was common that 1 hour is 45 minutes of classes. And after this COVID situation started, by the Ministry of Science is a new rule that 1 hour is only 40 minutes. So there is a space for cleaning and disinfection of the classroom, and also in this time we can open windows to get some fresh air. So answer is that our class is 5 minutes shorter. Also with us is also maybe he can share some information with us. As you know, Polytechnic in Požega has a new student dorm. So it is a facility of Polytechnic, and our colleague Domagoj maybe will say something about the situation in student dorm regarding this COVID situation, and what he's doing with disinfection and rules with students in student dorm. So maybe if it's Domagoj here, he can say something.
Dr. Barbara, would you like to add something?
Not many things to add. Berislav has explained the lastings of our classes. So we have shortened classes from 45 to 40 minutes. But I see there's another question here from
the second one.
Colleagues. Yes. Was the strategies used for students' assessments? Yes. Since we are at the moment in the middle of the semester, and we conduct all our classes offline at the moment, as we have already noted. So we just had our typical, traditionally held questionnaires and all the tests in classrooms. I just finished this last week, and I had the results for my students this week. So no specific change occurred due to the previous offline models and methods used. Regarding the online, not just the surveys, but the exams that were held online, we also had similar models, but we had to change questions. So we could not have fully theoretical questions and exams for the students. So it was a little bit difficult for the students to understand those questions. So we conducted them written, and we also had the oral exams for them. I can just say from my point of view that regarding all the COVID lockdown situation, I think we were all a little bit sensitive to the students' needs and the way that we were all trying to find and to fight it as we did best. So maybe that is why those results were a little bit different than the ones in offline mode. We should, of course, test their knowledge to see whether there are significant difference. But I'm sure we all did the best that we could regarding the situation that happened in the springtime in Požega.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Barbara. You have another question again from Simi. So she's asked, technology fatigue is already setting in here among students. How do you think we could carry on online with little of peer learning, sharing, and caring?
Yes, I think we all need to find new models of collaborating online. I also have noticed that since we have, I see this from the researcher point of view, as well as we are all so very distant, but we can work very good together. We can use all the different platforms that are available for the researches to be conducted. So we just need to transfer this experience that we have internationally to our students. So we can be apart millions of kilometers or miles, and we can use different platforms like Zoom or Teams or whatever, or Google tools, and we need to encourage our students to do so as well. For example, sharing different ideas with students have already been started at some of my courses, even during offline, because I had a small group of students on a seminar at my business ethics course. So they were all full-time students, but they were employed, and they were not able to visit all the classes that were held in classrooms. So I gave them a task to collaborate together to work on an ethical code for a civil society group in a couple of groups to make this joint document and then to implement this code of ethics into this civil society organizations, which was very successful. So we were all very satisfied since we communicated daily. They communicated with each other. They had this document on Google Drive, which each of them could work on, and I commented on. So it was almost as if we were all in the classroom. So these experiences that we have, we can share now if we are forced to work online. And I think as long as we express our emotions good, we can work in online mode successful as well as we work offline. Of course, that we all like to be offline and we like to be near to each other, but these circumstances we have to use with the tools that we have to be able to collaborate together as successful as in offline.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Barbara. Next question.
Kriba, we have one more guest, Domagoj Prasad, who is the head of Students' Dome from Polytechnic of Posega. So I think the last question Berislav asked was to Domagoj Prasad. I think you can add a few to that. Domagoj, you are open. You're on mute, it seems. Your audio is on mute. I think still there is some problem with the audio. No problem, Kriba. You can take the next question.
Okay. Next question is open to both of you. Can the online mode of classes and exams be adopted as a permanent option for the future? Will that be effective? I think this is a common question. Multiple people in different terms have asked the same thing. Can this be a permanent solution, or can the hybrid system work for a longer period of time, even after this pandemic?
I can answer to this one. Especially as a sociologist, I don't believe in this fully and forever online model. People are like beings of a community, and we like to connect to each other, we like to talk to each other, we like to be near to each other. So I think we have to find ways for the technology to help us overcome the problems that we face. But I think that nothing honestly can swap the models that we like when we share and we have the joy together. So I don't think it would be good for the humankind itself, not just in education, but in all other aspects of social life. So humans are, as ancient Greek philosophy used to say, zoon politikon. So we are beings of a community. We are not deemed to be alone. So I don't think that full online mode is a forever solution to the world itself, let alone educational models. And I would also like to say, I read a question and a note from Simi. Hello, Simi. I look forward to seeing you again. I wanted to say that I agree with your gamification thing. I think it's great, but because students like to play games, and it's a wonderful idea to tackle their critical thinking, to tackle their knowledge, to tackle their openness and new ideas. So I think it's a wonderful idea, and thank you for sharing it. I share the same with you as well.
Thank you so much. Since we are running out of time, probably in this duration of a week, we would definitely take more questions and we would have more interactive sessions. So as the name goes, it's the interactive series. So I'll not keep the floor open for much longer now, since we are short of time. So thank you all for your active participation. So to enhance this interaction series, we have developed a feedback form, which I kindly fill that so that we can make these series of talk within the 7 days much better. And also we can confirm your attendance. So now the feedback form is available to everybody and you can just click and start filling. Meantime, we are coming to the end of this. And to deliver our special gratitude and vote of thanks, I now invite Dr. Varghese Baby, Head, Department of Life Sciences, Jain deemed to be University. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Kripa. A very good evening to all of you. Am I audible properly?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Thank you, Kripa. Distinguishable dignitaries, our overseas guests of honor, and the key speakers of the day, and dear delegates and participants of the webinar on global strategies for education post-COVID-19, which with its opening of a platform for the deliberations to develop strategies for the teaching, learning, and evaluation process in higher education worldwide. On behalf of the organizers of this program, and with the privilege bestowed upon me, I would like to pronounce here a few words of our thankfulness and profound gratitude to all those who made this venture a grand success. Our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. J. Lida, has been a great help and support to organize all the vibrant activities of the Jain deemed to be University, Kochi campus. Dear ma'am, on behalf of the organizers and the participants of this webinar, we place on record our gratitude and thankfulness for all your help, support, and also for your inaugural address. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Ishwar Nair, Dean of Commerce and the Director of Industry Interface and Key Projects of Jain deemed to be University, has been with us today for introducing the theme of this webinar series. I thank him for all his support and encouragements offered to this campus and also for introducing the theme of this webinar series. We would like to place on record our most sincere gratitude to Dr. Berslav Andrlich, the Vice Dean for Development, and Dr. Barbara Prisker, the Collegiate Professor of Polytechnic of Posega, Croatia, for their exciting and inspiring keynote address. The great patronage the Kochi campus, received from our patrons, Dr. Chandraj Roychand, the Chancellor of the Jain deemed to be University, and the founder and the chairman of the Jain Group of Institutions, and other senior dignitaries, especially the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Honorary Colonel Dr. N. Sundararajan, and the Registrar, Dr. N.V.H. Krishnan of the Jain deemed to be University, and Mr. Venugopal V. Menon, Director, Kerala Growth Projects of International Skill Development Corporation, are thankfully acknowledged. Thanks are also due to Dr. Madhukumar, the Joint Controller of Examinations, and to Dr. Sadikumar, the Head of Administration, and other dignitaries of Jain Kochi for their presence and support. I place on record our gratitude to Dr. Harish and Ramnathan, the Professor and Head of the Department of Management Studies, for introducing our key speakers. Dr. Bindu Achama Koshi, Professor and Head of the Department of Commerce, for her welcome speech. Mrs. Kripa Cherian, Assistant Professor of Commerce, for emceeing the ceremony. Thanks are also due to Dr. Kanan Balakrishnan, the Coordinator of the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of Excel, and Dr. Jayasri Kunyat, to both of them for being the coordinators of the entire webinar series. We are thankful to all the dignitaries and faculty members of the Jain deemed to be University, Bangalore and Kochi campuses for their presence and help. We are much happy and honored to place on record our profound thankfulness to all the distinguishable participants of this webinar across the globe. I do repeat, we place on record our profound thankfulness to the distinguishable participants of this webinar across the globe for making this event a memorable and great success. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And once again, thank each and every participant who joined us this evening and stayed with us so long. For those who missed the feedback link, we'll be sharing it to your registered email IDs. So with this, we have come to an end of day 1 of Global Interaction Series on global strategies for education post-COVID-19. Do join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. sharp for yet another thought-provoking interaction with Dr. Oleg Povok, Vice Rector, Odisha State Academy of Construction and Architecture, Odisha, Ukraine. Thank you and wish you all a good night. Thank you all.
Thank you.